Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Behind the Mask. Today we are very excited to have John Scanzano, head coach of King's Christian School baseball team and co-owner of Scanzano Sports and Combat Baseball. The first baseball head coach we've ever had on our program. John, that's quite an honor, if I would say so. And we are ecstatic to have Rich Glazer back on the host desk here. Welcome back, Rich, and welcome to John Scanzano.
I'm glad to be back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, glad to be here, John. Thanks for the invite. Excited to be a part of what you're doing.
Awesome. Great to have you here. We're going to get right to the questions. We have some questions for you. We have some fan-submitted questions. We're going on about a month and a half now of this coronavirus lockdown. How are you holding up so far, and how are you dealing with it as a program with your players?
I mean, everybody's safe and healthy. That's the most important thing. Everybody's chomping at the bit to get outside, get on a baseball field, practice, do whatever they can do. The players, are doing what they can, working out at home, doing things with their dads, just trying to stay active, stay fit, keep their bodies moving. Like I said before, the worst thing is when we do get back out there, we want these kids to be healthy. Don't want to see anybody getting hurt. So the kids are doing what they're supposed to do. As far as myself personally, I've been getting out of the house, going over to the baseball field in Pennsauken and literally working on that every day pretty much, trying to, bring that field back to life and make it one of the nicest fields in South Jersey.
John, first of all, I want to say I love your Fu Manchu there.
The story behind it, but yeah, okay.
We'll use that. We'll have to use that on another show. Anyway,
Yeah.
John, I want to know what some of the differences that you have noticed between the TSE UA Tri-State Elite Umpires Association and other umpire organizations that you deal with as a coach.
The one thing that I love about TSE umpires is the guys are very professional. They're prepared. I like working with them. One of the good things about them is you guys is when you have issues during a game, they're willing to listen. They're willing to work with you. Sometimes when you go to these big events or you go to different things where they're trying to push through or rush games. These guys, they don't want to listen to coaches. They just want to, keep moving with the game. They can be ignorant. They can ignore you. And that's when you run into some problems because, we're all grown men and we're just looking to be respected the same way we respect them. But your umpires, very respectful, know the game, and are willing to, explain things when if there's a situation or something comes up in a game where, things can get out of control. They do a good job of keeping the games under control, coaches, fans, players. So it's been a great experience with the TSE guys. And, I'm not going to say like negative things about other organizations or anything like that, but, there's a lot of positives with TSE that you don't get from some other organizations that you might deal with, especially when you're traveling, going to different states and playing in big tournaments.
Well, John, I'm very gratified to hear the word respect in there because that's one of the things I talk to a lot of our new guys about. You got to we have to view you and all the other coaches and managers we deal with as our clients, and you got to respect your clients. I mean, basically, you're paying the bill, and you got to respect your customers because without customers, you really don't have a business. So I appreciate hearing that word respect.
John, I've heard that all of your players from the past 2 high school classes either are playing college baseball or already committed to play baseball in college next year. How did you get that done? I don't think that's something that's happening at a lot of programs around. That's a pretty impressive feat. How did you accomplish that?
Well, that's something we're really proud of, my brother and I. And really, it's just, a lot of working for your players. One thing that we've said and lived by is that one phone call can change a young man's life. So we don't have a problem calling any coaches. I mean, we have a lot of relationships. We know a lot of coaches, but we really just work to find the right fit for every player. It's not just, one thing that we tell our kids, players is, you're not coming here just to be on a summer team. You have a dream, you have a goal to be a college baseball player. We're going to do everything we can to get you there. And we truly believe there is a fit for every player. We just got to find it. So it's a lot of networking. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of text messages and working for your players. So, we'll get videos out to coaches. We did that great thing in the winter this year with This Week in Baseball South Jersey, where we videoed the practices, was able to get them out to coaches, and we're always just trying to be creative. And I would say the biggest thing for us too is we have coaches. We built relationships with coaches where they'll work with us. They might not have a need for a player, but they might have a buddy of theirs that's a coach at another college. They'll say, hey, give him a call. I know he's looking for this. He's looking for a catcher. He's looking for a left-handed pitcher. We don't need one, but I think your player could be a good fit. And, it's just we work for our players. That's the big key.
John, I was wondering how you go about handling or dealing with an umpire who is obviously displaying what I would call a big shot or bully type mentality.
I kind of try and I kind of try and go opposite on them. The one thing I've learned in dealing with umps is when you have an umpire like that you could pick up on that before the game even starts. Just the way he takes ground rules, just the way he acts. But, I won't be confrontational. I'll try and go the other way completely and just be the nicest guy in the world to him and try and make him feel like, all right, I'm being a jerk acting like this. And then, they realize maybe the way they're acting is wrong. So instead of being confrontational, I'll try and just, do things that are extra, I don't want to say nice, but just make comments or do things extra that make him realize, like, all right, I feel like a fool right now because most coaches would be arguing and yelling at me right now, and I can be the hard guy. But instead, this guy's being nice, so it makes them feel a certain way.
Yeah, it's good to your approach is excellent, John. Always best when you have confrontations that take the high road.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point in, I'm sure John and some of the umpires in your organization will tell you about me is I'm not a very, I'm not one of them guys that are going to yell and scream and we're all grown men. We're all adults. Umpires are out there doing the best they can. People are going to make mistakes. What's the point of me getting in an argument and making myself look like a fool in front of my players? I want my players to see, we teach about, character and morals and acting the right way. So, I can't just teach it and not do it. You know what I mean? So that's basically our mindset. We're not going to get thrown out of a game. I mean, in my entire high school and tournament career coaching, I've only been thrown out one time, and that's because an umpire got in an argument with one of my fans, one of my parents. I had to defend that. But other than that, we don't want to get ejected or look like a fool out there.
Yeah, no, you're great. Your approach is good. If the high road doesn't work, then you could always offer him a cup of coffee or a beer.
I don't know about beers, but yeah, coffee definitely at the field, maybe after the game.
John, you kind of touched on it a little bit as far as picking up on the attitude of an umpire before the game even starts. On that same type of note, what are some minor things before the game or at the beginning of the game before it gets too deep that you can quickly figure out as an experienced coach, whether you have a quality umpire that day or someone who's going to struggle a little bit?
Just maybe some little questions or just make a comment about, hey, I'm trying to think of a situation, in high school, sometimes you can just, maybe say something to them where, hey, I played these guys before and I know that this player or this coach is going to try and get you to do something or go about something a certain way and see what their response is. But just basically just ask them, how many games have they done today? Or, how's it been going? Or, and right there, just a simple question as much as, how's your day been? How's it been going today? They'll give you an answer right away. Today sucks, or it's been a terrible day, or it's been this, or it's been that. So that, that'll give it away for you to know what's going on. And at that point, like I said before, that's when I'll say, hey, well, at least you got, coaches here that aren't going to argue with you. We're just looking for a good game, and maybe try and bring them down a little bit.
Good approach. John, I was wondering how do you go about handling it if you have an umpiring crew that is not really up to the level of what I call the highly skilled players that you have in your combat program? I mean, I've seen some of your combat players work out. They look like they're about an inch away from going major league.
Yeah. Sometimes that's difficult. It's hard when, you might, you have these kids that are Division I baseball players, or like you said, someone that might get drafted. And it's tough sometimes when you might run into an umpire behind a plate who hasn't really had the opportunity to see a guy that's throwing 95 miles an hour, or has a heck of, 4 pitches or 3 pitches, a breaking ball, a changeup that move and can control the zone. So, it can be frustrating. I really just try and focus on keeping the players calm, because the players will get frustrated, especially if you're, a position player, or, a pitcher, or, at the plate, and you have a good eye, or you don't strike out often, or a pitcher that, doesn't walk a lot of people, and all of a sudden this umpire just can't handle the game. Well, your players start to get frustrated, and we just try and keep them calm, because, college coaches could be watching at that time, and it's an opportunity for them to, show that they can handle those type of situations. But it's hard to say. I wish there was more of an answer I could give you to say, like, this is what I'll do if the umpires are, not ready for that. I might go talk to them and say, hey, Blue, these guys, this is a guy that, is a Division I. Might tell them a little bit about the player, or tell them something that kind of gets them, he's used to pitching low in the zone, or he doesn't miss much, or he's going to hit his spot. So maybe that brings him back. But, a lot of times too, when the umpires are not prepared for that, or aren't used to it, they'll kind of let us know, like, let me know, like, oh, coach, hey, sorry about that. I missed that call. I'm not used to a guy like this, or used to a kid like this. So it could be frustrating, but again, we try and concentrate on keeping the players calm so they don't get taken out of their game.
John,
Yeah, one of the best.
Hang on, Rich. Sorry to interrupt. On the topic of just the quality of the umpiring crew, does the consistent or consistency or the quality of the umpires that you receive affect the decision making from a guy who runs a program like you to go to particular tournaments? Like, if you consistently have a better umpiring product at one place and a poor umpiring product at another, would that affect your decision on which tournaments to register your teams?
100%. Yes. There are some, tournament associations out there that, they hired a guy off the street, or, they think that it's, umping doesn't matter. We just want to go for the cheapest price or something like that. Yeah, we have stopped going to certain tournaments because of that, because the umpires don't handle the game right, or aren't prepared, or aren't experienced enough to handle those types of games, because that's when things get out of hand. That's when, when you go to tournaments like that and you have umpires that can't handle a situation, or, don't know how to handle coaches. One thing, about you guys is you teach your umpires how to handle coaches and how to interact with coaches. But when you go to an organization, a tournament, and you have umpires that really don't know how to handle coaches, or don't know how to talk to coaches, well, things start to get out of hand, because there are some guys out there, that'll get a little out of control, other coaches and stuff. And, we've made decisions based on that to not attend certain organizations' tournaments because of the umpires. Absolutely.
Gotcha. We're coming up on a hard stop here. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will give John his fan-submitted questions.